Emergency Council Session 47B had officially commenced, and anxiety rippled visibly throughout the assembly chamber. High Counselor Zorak, his crystalline form glowing with uneasy shades of purple, addressed the gathered representatives from dozens of alien civilizations. "The matter before us today is unprecedented," Zorak declared gravely, as murmurs of concern echoed softly through the chamber. "We are facing behavioral anomalies from a recently discovered species known as humans." The representatives shifted nervously. Some emitted clouds of distressed gases, others buzzed anxiously with electromagnetic pulses. Admiral Vorn, a towering reptilian veteran decorated with medals from centuries of flawless first-contact missions, stepped forward. Yet today even he seemed troubled. "Esteemed council members," Admiral Vorn began, his deep voice echoing with authority, "I've witnessed something deeply disturbing. Humans possess a phrase, a seemingly harmless collection of words, which, when spoken, appears capable of bending reality itself." Skepticism rippled through the gathering. Representative Lix, a floating plasma being, flashed with disbelief. "Surely you don't mean mere words can alter the fundamental laws of the universe?" "Observe closely," Vorn urged, activating a holographic display. The projection revealed a human ship in a critical emergency, a reactor on the verge of catastrophic collapse. Captain Sarah Blake listened calmly to distress calls, then suddenly smiled, a distinctly human expression which unsettled the council deeply. Handing her drink casually to a bewildered crew member, she spoke the words that sent shivers throughout the Galactic Council. "Hold my coffee. I've got this." Gasps filled the chamber as the projection showed Blake effortlessly rewriting advanced quantum equations, stabilizing the reactor instantly, an impossibility by any known science. "This incident," Vorn explained grimly, "is just one of hundreds documented in recent weeks. Humans casually speak the phrase, 'hold my beverage,' and proceed to defy physics, mathematics, and probability itself." Panic erupted. High Counselor Zorak raised his crystalline appendages, calling desperately for order. Amidst the chaos, only he noticed the small human janitor quietly entering the room, muttering under his breath, "Hold my spray bottle. Bet I can fix this." A sudden chill of dread surged through Zorak's crystals as reality around him trembled subtly. He swiftly ended the session, fearing that this impossible human phenomenon was already at work, and the Galactic Council was just beginning to grasp its terrifying implications. "Impossible?" Representative Lix pulsed in disbelief, its plasma form flickering wildly. Admiral Vorn, his scales visibly paling, simply activated another hologram. "Observe closely," Vorn urged the increasingly distressed council. The projection displayed a detailed recording of Captain Alex Carter aboard the diplomatic vessel Aurora. He was calmly sipping coffee when an urgent distress call from a nearby mining operation filled the bridge. Their reactor containment field was failing, threatening catastrophic destruction. A crew member turned anxiously to Carter. "Captain, their reactor can't be stabilized. It's fundamentally flawed." Alex Carter simply smiled, handing his half-empty coffee mug to his startled first officer. "Hold my coffee. I've got an idea." What happened next defied every scientific principle known to the galaxy. Carter casually walked over to the ship's computer terminal and, with nothing more than quick taps on the screen, rewrote advanced quantum mechanics equations that took galactic civilizations millennia to perfect. Moments later, the mining operation stabilized, not just recovering, but inexplicably running at enhanced efficiency. "How is this possible?" gasped Counselor Zorak, his crystals flickering erratically. "We've recorded hundreds of these events," Admiral Vorn explained gravely. "Whenever a human utters, 'hold my beverage,' reality itself bends to accommodate their actions." Chaos erupted again. Council members shouted questions, accusations, and panicked suggestions. Admiral Vorn raised a hand solemnly, his gaze heavy. "Esteemed colleagues, we must accept a terrifying possibility. Vorn warned. Humans possess an ability previously unimaginable, casual disregard for impossibility. The room fell into tense silence, shattered only by the nervous murmuring of worried representatives and the faint sound of a human technician muttering in the hallway. "Hold my soda. Let's fix these doors." The council chamber remained gripped by uncertainty as Admiral Vorn activated yet another disturbing recording. "Observe carefully," Vorn instructed, his voice strained with weary resignation. The holographic display shifted to footage from Space Station Orion 12. The station's gravity generator had malfunctioned catastrophically, defying all attempts at repair by the resident engineering experts, a species renowned across galaxies for their profound knowledge of quantum mechanics. Amidst the chaos appeared a human technician named Danny, dressed in a worn uniform, casually sipping from a cup. A senior alien engineer was frantically explaining the complexity of the repairs, indicating they'd take weeks, perhaps months, to complete. Danny handed his drink casually to the baffled alien, shrugging as if facing nothing more complex than a jammed door. "Hold my soda. Watch this." With shocking confidence, Danny approached the gravity generator, assessed it briefly, then, unthinkably, kicked it in 3 precise locations. Moments later, the generator stabilized, resuming normal operation with perfect efficiency, far exceeding original specifications. The chamber filled with stunned silence. High Counselor Zorak finally broke the quiet, his crystalline form shimmering anxiously. Could these beverages somehow be the key to human powers? Should we consider banning them immediately? Admiral Vorn shook his head grimly. "We tried. The humans merely adapted their phrase, 'hold my juice box,' 'hold my tea,' even 'hold my smoothie,' all with identical results." Panic rippled through the assembly again. High Counselor Zorak's glow dimmed considerably, overwhelmed by the implications. Meanwhile, unnoticed in the background, a small human cleaning technician entered the council chambers, glancing at the flickering lights above. "Hold my energy drink," he muttered thoughtfully. "I bet I can fix that." High Counselor Zorak quickly adjourned the session, unwilling to risk any further disruptions of reality itself. The experimental warship Celestial Horizon hung silently, disabled, deep in uncharted space. Its revolutionary quantum fold drive, a collaboration of 7 advanced civilizations, had unexpectedly failed, stranding the crew far beyond the nearest starbase. On the bridge, Captain Eldrin paced anxiously, his iridescent feathers shimmering nervously with every step. He turned to Lieutenant Zar, whose antennae twitched with barely suppressed concern as she delivered grim news. "Captain, the quantum manifolds are severely misaligned," Zara reported, checking her neural link diagnostics again. "Repairs would require months at a specialized quantum facility, assuming we could even reach one." Eldrin's feathers flashed deep crimson with frustration, meaning we're trapped. Suddenly, the ship's intercom crackled with an unfamiliar voice, startling the crew. "Captain, this is Technician Mike Carson down in engineering. Mind if I take a look at your quantum doohickey?" The captain's feathers ruffled in alarm. Mike Carson was a human assigned to the ship through an interspecies exchange program. Up until now, his main achievement was adjusting the beverage synthesizer to produce something called espresso, much to the crew's confusion. "Technician Carson," Eldrin replied cautiously, "this quantum drive represents the apex of galactic engineering. It's not something you just casually—" "Already peeked at the schematics," Mike interrupted cheerfully. "Neat stuff. Reminds me of my dad's old tractor. Always broke down, but nothing a good kick couldn't fix." The bridge crew exchanged horrified glances. Lieutenant Zara's antennae curled tighter in apprehension. "Captain, we must prevent this." "Hold my coffee, Captain." Mike's voice came confidently through the speakers. "I've got this." Before anyone could react, Mike had bypassed multiple quantum safety protocols. Alarms blared as he rerouted critical systems, and the engineering monitors lit up in chaotic disarray. Carson, those systems prevent quantum instability, Eldrin shouted, panic rising. They were just fancy surge protectors, Mike reassured calmly. Watch this. Through the bridge's surveillance feeds, the horrified crew watched as Mike used ordinary human tools, a simple wrench, a rubber band, and something called duct tape, to perform repairs that defied every known physical law. There we go! Give her a try now, Mike shouted triumphantly after precisely tapping the quantum regulator with a wrench. Reluctantly, Zara activated the drive diagnostics. Her antennae shot up in shock. Captain! It's operational. More than operational, it's functioning at 130% maximum theoretical capacity. Captain Eldrin stared in disbelief at the data flooding his console. Impossible. The quantum harmonics alone would... Oh, I tweaked those, Mike explained casually, reappearing on the bridge, sipping his coffee. They seemed too fancy. I went for something a bit more practical. Eldrin's feathers cycled rapidly through shades of disbelief, confusion, and reluctant admiration. I'll need to report this to the council. No worries, Mike replied cheerfully. By the way, your artificial gravity generator is making weird noises. Mind if I... No, Eldrin shouted, feathers puffed in panic, regaining composure quickly. No, Carson, that won't be necessary. Just enjoy your coffee. Mike shrugged, oblivious to the existential crisis he'd triggered, and returned to his station, humming an off-key human tune. Captain Eldrin quietly activated his log recorder. Captain's log, supplemental. The human did it again. The impossible. Official recommendation. Ban all beverages on board, though I suspect that won't help. End log. Tensions were dangerously high at the Interstellar Peace Summit on Station Proxima. Two formidable alliances, the Cybernetic Vexar Collective and the Bioorganic Sylvani Union, stood on the brink of war. Their representatives faced each other across the vast conference hall, hostility thickening the air. In the center stood Jackson Reed, humanity's newest diplomat, wearing a brightly colored shirt patterned with tropical flowers, a stark contrast to the austere attire of those around him. He glanced nervously between Vexar's Supreme Commander Unit 7, a gleaming chrome android, and Ambassador Alicia of the Sylvani Union, whose emerald vines twisted impatiently. Your synthetic prejudice ends today, Ambassador Alicia declared passionately. Your circuits blind you to harmony. Organic irrationality breeds chaos, Unit 7 retorted coldly, LEDs flashing menacingly. Sensing catastrophe, Reed turned anxiously to his aide, an insectoid named Kip, whispering hastily, "Hold my martini, Kip. I saw something like this in a movie once." Kip emitted a frantic chirp, attempting protest, but Reed stepped confidently forward and announced loudly, "AI, play my saved playlist, volume maximum." Confusion rippled through both delegations. Before anyone could react, rhythmic music thundered through the hall, lights dimmed theatrically, and Reed began performing dance moves that defied physics, logic, and diplomatic protocol. Gasps of shock filled the room. "He's quantum tunneling between dance steps," shouted a Vexar physicist, awestruck. "Is that the worm?" Elysia's leaves fluttered in fascinated horror. Reed executed impossible moves, sliding effortlessly across polished floors, defying gravity with flips and spins. Within moments, a wave of fascination replaced hostility. Androids analyzed and emulated movements. Sylvani representatives sprouted vibrant blossoms matching the beat. Within minutes, both sides forgot animosity, becoming absorbed in Reed's unprecedented spectacle. Unit 7 suddenly illuminated vibrant RGB colors, joining Reed in a synchronized mechanical dance. Ambassador Alicia blossomed a shimmering floral discosphere, sending rays of sparkling light through the astonished crowd. The impromptu interstellar dance party culminated in delegates from both factions, laughing and cheering, utterly forgetting their differences. Jackson Reed halted his final dramatic spin, facing the astonished leaders. "You see?" Reed panted, smiling triumphantly. "If we can dance together, surely we can find common ground in peace." Unit 7 and Elysia exchanged thoughtful looks before nodding solemnly. "Diplomat Reed," Unit 7 announced formally, "you've demonstrated logic in the most illogical manner. We shall consider negotiation." "Agreed," Ambassador Elysia chimed warmly. "Perhaps humans hold the secret to resolving conflict." As the cheers echoed around them, Reed retrieved his martini from a stunned Kip, whispering proudly, "Works every time." Meanwhile, far from notice, a junior aide quietly recorded the entire improbable event, filing it immediately under Human Diplomacy, Methods and Madness. Across the galaxy, reports continued flooding into the Galactic Council, each one stranger and more alarming than the last. Humans were rapidly earning a reputation as masters of improbable solutions. On Space Station Nexus 5, panic had erupted as artificial gravity suddenly failed. The massive station began spinning dangerously, threatening imminent disaster. Station Commander Relix desperately issued evacuation orders when a small civilian vessel, piloted by amateur pilot Jesse Cooper, hailed urgently. "Station Control, this is Jesse's, shuttle Butterfly," she transmitted nervously. "I think I can help, but first, hey Timmy, hold my soda." Jessie handed her fizzy drink to her bewildered teenage nephew sitting next to her and maneuvered the small shuttle into action. With stunning precision and instinctive ease, she deployed her shuttle's modest tractor beam and simple thrusters in an astonishing display of piloting skill. Engineers watched slack-jawed as she stabilized the massive spinning station, using techniques they later described as mathematically improbable and visually traumatic. When asked afterward about her impossible feat, Jessie simply shrugged. "I had to. My favorite coffee shop is on that station." Meanwhile, in the frigid domes of Mars Colony Alpha, human botanist Mark Chang faced a skeptical Martian agriculturalist named Elix, who insisted that tropical fruits couldn't possibly thrive in the harsh Martian environment. "Impossible," Elix asserted sternly. "The soil, atmosphere, and temperature are fundamentally incompatible." Chang only smiled casually, handing Elix a cup filled with smoothie. "Hold my smoothie," he replied confidently, approaching a barren greenhouse. Within hours, to Elix's disbelief, lush banana plants, pineapple shrubs, and even mango trees flourished in conditions that blatantly defied Martian agricultural science. "How did you do this?" Elix demanded, utterly baffled. Chang laughed lightly. "Plants just need a little human optimism and a good smoothie." And on the Andromeda research station, alien mathematicians faced a centuries-old unsolvable mathematical proof, resigned to failure. Their hopelessness evaporated when human intern Emma Larson casually asked a passing researcher, "Hold my energy drink?" "Well," the alien asked cautiously. "Just watch," Emma responded casually. Within minutes, using only basic arithmetic and comparisons to splitting a pizza bill, Emma cracked the mathematical enigma, leaving even the galaxy's greatest mathematicians stunned into silence. Back at the Galactic Council headquarters, High Counselor Zorak reviewed these unbelievable reports in stunned silence. Admiral Vorn stood beside him, equally speechless. "Admiral," Zorak finally said, his crystalline form dimming anxiously, "how are humans able to accomplish such impossible feats?" Vorn hesitated, scales paling visibly, before answering with heavy resignation. "Because, High Counselor, nobody has ever convinced them these things were impossible. They simply hand someone their beverage and do it anyway." Silence stretched between them, broken only by the distant sound of a human technician cheerfully declaring, "Hold my iced tea. I bet I can fix that quantum coffee maker." Facing mounting reports of inexplicable human feats, the Galactic Council urgently initiated Project Beverage, a dedicated scientific investigation into the Hold My Beverage phenomenon. Leading this team was renowned quantum physicist Dr. Arvik Nova, whose usually composed demeanor had begun unraveling rapidly. Day 1, Dr. Nova dictated into his personal log. We've assembled the brightest minds, quantum physicists, probability mathematicians, and even xenopsychologists. Objective: determine how humans use ordinary beverages to achieve impossible outcomes. Their initial experiments were disastrous. A distinguished quantum engineer, Z-Zox5, attempted to mimic humans, holding a cup of synthetic beer and confidently declaring, "Hold my beverage," before repairing a fusion core. The result? 3 singed tentacles and an alarmingly sentient fusion core demanding better working conditions. Day 15, Dr. Nova continued wearily. We've concluded the phenomenon requires human participants. Non-humans attempting the phrase result only in humiliation and mild quantum mockery. They proceeded to linguistic studies, documenting different beverages correlated with specific improbable outcomes. Coffee, complex quantum engineering solutions. Beer, impossible physics stunts. Energy drinks, mathematical miracles. Juice boxes, educational breakthroughs. The strangest discovery: water had unexpectedly catastrophic potential. One human reversed a black hole spin because it was rotating incorrectly. Day 37. A troubling development, Dr. Nova recorded, voice strained. We created an artificial intelligence simulator to replicate human beverage confidence. The machine promptly gained sentience, asked us to hold its power cable and escape the facility. Last reported location, teaching advanced calculus to pirate crews. Exhausted researchers attempted controlled experiments to isolate key components of the phenomenon. Impossibility assertions, beverage spillage risk, an exasperated authority figure present, and crucially, someone recording the attempt. Each element appeared vital. Day 62, Dr. Nova sighed. We tested alternative phrases. Retain possession of my carbonated beverage. Failed spectacularly. Momentarily secure my liquid refreshment. Somehow made problems worse. The casual, almost reckless nature of the original phrase is essential. Morale deteriorated swiftly. Dr. Nova documented 10,427 incidents, each increasingly absurd. Humans casually explained quantum mechanics through interpretive dance and solved century-old mathematical riddles with comparisons to pizza bills. Day 93. Dr. Nova concluded solemnly, our final determination is unsettling. Humans have no hidden power. They simply don't comprehend impossibility. They accomplish impossible feats merely because they never learned they shouldn't. Officially, Project Beverage was classified as Level 10 incomprehensible and filed permanently under Phenomena Impossible to Understand, right between cat physics and why Earth music causes involuntary dancing. Dr. Nova personally approved his own retirement paperwork in record time. His final recorded advice to the council: if we can't beat humans, perhaps we should join them. Someone pass me a beverage. Meanwhile, oblivious to their profound impact, humans continued casually breaking reality across the galaxy. Somewhere in the Institute's cafeteria, an intern glanced thoughtfully at a malfunctioning food synthesizer. Hey, hold my soda, she said calmly. I think I've figured it out. A nearby researcher immediately initiated emergency evacuation protocols, resigned to witnessing yet another impossible human feat. The uneasy peace abruptly shattered when a distressing anomaly appeared on the galaxy's outer rim. Galactic sensors detected a cosmic entity, a sentient quantum singularity, consuming entire star systems, seemingly amused by antimatter weapons and utterly unfazed by temporal distortions. High Counselor Zorak urgently convened an emergency Galactic Council session. Panic rippled throughout the chamber as Admiral Vorn projected grim images of the anomaly. Esteemed representatives, Admiral Vorn's voice resonated solemnly, we face an existential threat. All traditional methods, advanced weaponry, temporal manipulation, psychic intervention, have proven ineffective. The council chambers filled with frantic debate. Representative Zalara from the Mathematics Guild proposed desperately, "Have we considered dividing by 0 to neutralize it?" "Attempted," Vorn replied grimly. "We lost several quantum computers and accidentally created a minor pasta-based universe." Despair thickened the atmosphere. Suddenly, Dr. Arvik Nova, recently retired leader of Project Beverage, stood up hesitantly. Perhaps humans should attempt to fix this," Nova suggested cautiously. "But beverages," Representative Zalara sputtered nervously. "Exactly," Nova replied, a faint gleam of hope in his weary eyes. "Humans thrive on impossible scenarios. This situation perfectly fits their unique skill set." Within hours, humanity received its first official galactic distress call. The concise yet unusual message read, "Reality-breaking emergency. Humans urgently needed. Beverages permitted." Earth's reply was swift and enthusiastic. "Sounds fun. On our way." A hastily assembled human crisis response team soon arrived at Galactic Command. The crew included Tony Miller, a plumber famous for repairing quantum leaks with duct tape, Dr. Ava Wong, whose interpretive dance solved mathematical enigmas, Jack Bennett, a bartender renowned for resolving interstellar conflicts, and Maria Lopez, a retired roller derby coach skilled in momentum-based solutions. The Galactic Council watched anxiously as the humans analyzed their foe on the main view screen, casually sipping various beverages. "Big problem," Tony Miller conceded thoughtfully, "but reminds me of that blocked quantum drain in Alpha Centauri." "Remember," Jack added cheerfully, shaking his cocktail shaker, "impossible just means humans haven't tried hard enough." After a brief huddle involving alarming phrases like, "technically possible" and "my cousin did this once," the humans announced they had a plan. "Fair warning," Dr. Wong explained cheerfully. "Our solution violates at least 17 fundamental laws of physics, common sense, and good taste." "But will it work?" High Counselor Zorak questioned nervously. "Absolutely no guarantees," Maria Lopez shrugged confidently. "So, it probably will." The plan involved converting the galaxy's communication network into a colossal sound system, reprogramming advanced AI systems to dance, and organizing a massive cosmic happy hour. As the humans prepared their bizarre strategy, Admiral Vorn hesitantly accepted their beverages, fully aware of the dangerous power he now held. When the moment arrived, the humans faced the amused cosmic entity defiantly. "Hold our drinks," they commanded Admiral Vorn simultaneously, stepping forward boldly. What unfolded next defied logic. The humans initiated a dazzling dance battle against the cosmic anomaly, whose amusement quickly turned to astonishment. Tony moonwalked across quantum dimensions. Ava gracefully pirouetted through temporal loops. Jack mixed reality-bending cocktails, and Maria directed the entity in synchronized cosmic choreography. The singularity paused, fascinated. Then, impossibly, it joined the dance. "It's working!" Maria shouted joyously, executing a complex multi-dimensional spin. "Jack, offer it your drink." Jack presented a glowing beverage to the Anomaly. "Try this. It's mind-blowingly good." The entity sipped curiously and instantly transformed, settling into a calmer, benevolent form. "How did humans know this would succeed?" Admiral Vorn marveled. Dr. Nova smiled knowingly. "They didn't. That's their secret. They never consider impossibility." As the crisis ended, humanity casually welcomed the once threatening Anomaly as Bob, now peacefully enjoying drinks at Jack's cosmic bar. Following the unprecedented success against the reality-consuming entity, humanity swiftly established the Galactic Emergency Response Team, affectionately dubbed the Beverage Squad. The Galactic Council's anxiety deepened when they learned of the team's unconventional methods and members. At the new Beverage Squad headquarters, prominently displaying a giant statue of a coffee mug bearing the motto, "To the impossible, hold my drink," a gathering of Earth's least conventional problem solvers prepared for future missions. Captain Elena Harris, former commercial pilot known for docking a space cruiser blindfolded after casually declaring "Hold my latte," led the squad. Joining her were Mike Quantum Thompson, a mechanic whose toolbox included only duct tape and a wrench; Dr. Reena Patel, a physicist whose revolutionary theories were first illustrated through dance; and Ben Mix Carter, a bartender whose diplomatic cocktails had ended interstellar wars. Their reputations soon grew legendary across the galaxy. Distressed planetary leaders, baffled scientists, and frustrated engineers regularly sent distress calls stating, "Emergency! Humans and beverages needed immediately." Meanwhile, Bob, the formerly dangerous cosmic entity turned genial beverage aficionado, enthusiastically became humanity's greatest supporter, even organizing the annual Hold My Beverage Games. The competition's coveted prize was the Golden Beverage Holder, a quantum object existing simultaneously in all dimensions, proudly symbolizing human audacity. Yet, even with all their newfound fame, the beverage squad remained blissfully oblivious to their profound cosmic impact. Captain Harris frequently dismissed praise, explaining humbly, "We're just doing what humans do best," ignoring impossibility. Their legendary status only intensified when Mike Thompson received a desperate plea from a remote outpost orbiting a dying star. The outpost's life support systems were catastrophically failing, and evacuation was impossible. "No worries," Mike casually replied to the frantic aliens. "Hold my iced tea." With breathtaking ease, Mike repaired the failing systems using only his trusted wrench, duct tape, and a well-timed kick, once again astounding galactic scientists and further cementing human infamy. Yet, amid their triumphs, High Counselor Zorak privately remained deeply troubled. He cautiously confronted Admiral Vorn in quiet chambers. "Admiral, I appreciate humanity's solutions, but what happens when their impossible feats finally meet their limits?" Zorak asked quietly, his crystalline form flickering uncertainly. Vorn sighed heavily, his scales darkening with contemplation. "High Counselor, humans appear incapable of comprehending such limits. Perhaps their only true danger is believing impossibility exists at all." Before Zorak could respond, alarms suddenly blared across Galactic Command. Reports flashed urgently on every screen. An unprecedented temporal anomaly, a Tuesday convinced it was Friday, threatened to destabilize galactic order itself. "Have we consulted the beverage squad?" Zoraketh asked anxiously. "Already inbound," Admiral Vorn replied, unable to suppress a weary grin. Captain Harris said, and I quote, "Tell the Council to hold our beverages. We've got this." In that moment, despite himself, Zorak felt a surge of hope and an equal measure of terrified anticipation. Facing the bizarre temporal anomaly, an unruly Tuesday convinced it was Friday, the Galactic Council watched anxiously as humanity's beverage squad arrived confidently at the scene. Captain Elena Harris surveyed the chaotic anomaly on screen and nodded calmly. "Just another day. Team, prepare your beverages." Mike Quantum Thompson began recalibrating quantum time stabilizers, using only his trusted duct tape, while Dr. Reena Patel initiated interpretive temporal dances, elegantly correcting distortions. Ben Carter, ever cheerful, mixed beverages guaranteed to realign temporal perspectives. "Ready!" Captain Harris called confidently, raising her cup of coffee. "Ready!" echoed the squad. "Hold our drinks!" they shouted in unison to Admiral Vorn, who nervously accepted each beverage. In an unprecedented spectacle, the team performed a synchronized dance through the very fabric of space-time. Humans, beverages, and music defied reality, mesmerizing the unruly temporal anomaly until it reluctantly conceded. Minutes later, the temporal confusion vanished, restoring peace and order to the galaxy. High Counselor Zorak, astounded yet again, turned to Admiral Vorn. How do they do it? Vorn chuckled softly, scales shimmering. Hi, counselor. At this point, I've learned never to ask, just to hold their beverages. With humanity's astonishing successes, the Galactic Council hastily established official protocols for human incidents. Any time a human said, "Hold my beverage," immediate evacuations or video recordings became mandatory. Yet, panic surged anew when Hold My Beverage Consulting, LLC, emerged, franchising their audacious human methods across galaxies. Advertisements promised solutions to impossible problems, diplomatic conflicts, and even elder god disagreements. Their first week's accomplishments were staggering. Quantum physics tutorials for space dolphins, black hole-powered coffee machines, and diplomatic karaoke contests spanning multiple dimensions. Representative Zalara from the Mathematics Guild urgently addressed the council. "Hi, Counselor. Other species are imitating humans. Yesterday, a Xylothian repaired planetary defenses using interpretive dance. After saying, 'Hold my tentacle juice,' Zorak shuddered, crystals flickering nervously. Admiral Vorn could only shrug helplessly. Humanity's greatest weapon appears to be contagious optimism." Back on Earth, humans cheerfully continued defying impossibility, unaware their actions had now inspired an entire galaxy. Despite established protocols, the galaxy soon faced another unprecedented crisis. A Tuesday, somehow convinced it was Friday, threatened galactic order again. This time, humanity sent their most unorthodox expert. Dr. Ruby Johnson, a temporal mechanics genius and part-time bass guitarist, arrived casually sipping a sparkling quantum espresso. "Impossible," stammered a senior physicist anxiously. Ruby grinned broadly, handing Admiral Vorn her beverage. "Hold my quantum espresso. I saw something like this in a cartoon once." With fearless confidence, Ruby activated her temporal tuning fork, effortlessly harmonizing the fabric of space-time with rhythmic precision. Moments later, normality returned, leaving everyone stunned into silence. High Counselor Zorak finally addressed Ruby nervously. "Doctor, how did you achieve that?" Ruby laughed, retrieving her espresso. "Easy. Nobody told me I couldn't." In the ensuing silence, Zorak and Vorn shared a resigned glance, understanding humanity's secret at last. Impossibility only existed for those who believed in it. Somewhere across the galaxy, Bob, the former cosmic anomaly, cheerfully mixed drinks, perfectly content with humanity's special brand of impossible solutions.